All right, Yuri. So
Oh,
we have
hi, man.
somebody that shot me an email, said he read my book, and I think you said that you disagreed it or that you wanted to challenge me on a couple things.
Oh, well, yes, actually, yeah. You see, the thing is that I just came across this red pill concept and your book just, I mean, recently.
Yeah.
I'm almost 50 and I never encountered any problems which you describe, seriously. Well, okay, I'm happily married with 3 children. Obviously, I had my share of drama in life. I mean, obviously, but nothing to write book about, seriously. Nothing
Okay.
special.
All right.
And I'm a curious person, so I think that your videos pop more often than others on this subject because we just live in the same area, more or less, right?
Okay.
Could be. So, and I bought this book. I paid 150 Canadian dollars for it. No?
158 Canadian dollars. Who did you buy it from?
Just kidding. I found it in my neighbor's trash bin.
Oh, you found it in your neighbor's trash bin. Okay,
No,
so we're going to start with that.
Kidding again. I just bought it from Amazon.
Of course. Okay.
Okay,
So
all right.
what do you want to challenge me on, Yuri?
Okay. So, yeah, before I do, I would love to just, in 3 words, describe what I understood, because there's a good chance that I didn't understand anything, right?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So in 3 words. So what I understood is that, first of all, the man in our day and age should wake up to the following facts. Fact number 1, the game is rigged against the man, meaning you go to family courts or you look at any rules regarding the law and so forth. And basically, women are there to win. Whatever you do, they're right and you're wrong. So basically, the game is rigged. Fact number 1. Fact number 2 is that...
Do you agree with that, or are you disputing that?
No, of course, that's bullshit. Anyway,
Okay.
So number 2 is that media and all the culture, I mean, books, TV shows, whatever you look at, are conditioning man to actually do some strange and stupid things, meaning that the rational male, rational man would say, okay, I have a limited amount of time, money, energy, and I don't want to waste all that on people and women and I don't know, somebody else's children and so forth, right? So because in many cases there will be no return on investment, so to speak, right? So that's why the second fact man should wake up to is that media and the whole thing is conditioning you to do basically not really rational things. So I say stupid. You may even say stupid, right? Okay, and because of all that, it's basically boils down to the following: we are 98% primates, meaning we are 98%. Well, we are primates, right?
Yeah,
but
we're just a more advanced form of primate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we are 98% similar to our, closest ancestors. I don't know, apes. Correct. Or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, because of all these 2 facts I mentioned before, a man should actually learn the game, meaning that they should be aware of how all these instincts work, how they work in women, how they work in men, and based on that, man should actually act based on that, right? So which is in your book. Basic advice. So yeah, you should look masculine. You should be a man on the mission. You should make money, that type of stuff, right?
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that correct? Is that a fair assessment of what's all about?
Yeah. So I'm not hearing what you actually disagree with yet. So what did you want to challenge me on?
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah. And the last thing is actually that there are advices that the second one, it doesn't come from the red pill. It just comes from your book, I believe. Is actually the other thing which man should consider is that you should be very, very careful which people do you let into your life.
Yes.
Meaning, right? Either it's women or men or friends or business partners, doesn't matter, right? There's amount of red flags or other, say, things which you should be very considerate about. And this way, again, you will not waste your money, resources, and so forth on things which you shouldn't, right?
Okay. So you've done a good job summarizing it. So again, what do you disagree with?
That was the point. So I wanted to make sure that I understood anything properly, right?
Because okay.
Otherwise, challenge you wouldn't make any sense.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you don't mind, can I ask you just one more question, which is not related to the book?
Sure.
If you don't mind. The question is this. Well, basically, we all know, and it's a fact, that
And I
statistically.
just want to stop you for a second.
Yeah.
I just want you to be mindful of time, because I usually give people like 10 minutes or so to kind of like come on and
It
ask
was
questions,
okay.
because there's a lot of people waiting in the background area. So I just want to keep you
I
moving.
know. Trust me, it wouldn't be more than 10 minutes. Just
Okay, go ahead.
I'll be very swift. So the thing is, here's the question. So we all know that right now the marriages are on a decline in the Western world. We all know that for whatever reason. So the question is, do you think that the state might in the future want to fix that? So I would say, okay, from top of my head, say, you want a promotion. Okay, the state.
Okay, so let me answer that question, because I mean, you're asking me if I think that the state is going to change that, or if we're going to see an improvement, and the answer to that is no.
I'm sorry, not improvement, but is it possible that state will interfere and make men marry more? Say, if you want promotion, you need to be married man, that type of stuff.
Well, they would have to offer incentives to marriage, which don't really exist anymore. Like traditionally in the past, the incentive to marriage would be get married. You'd have your own children. You knew that they were yours. There was no question in your mind. You'd live, forever and ever till death do us part, and richer and poorer, and sickness and health, and all that sort of stuff. And, she would complement your life. You'd go to work, bring home with the bacon, she would cook it up, and that would be fine. But the problem is that when we had those, had that family unit, the fabric of all that working, men had all of the responsibility that they have today, but they also had authority in their household. Today, men have no authority. As soon as women say, you know what, I'm bored, or I'm done, or Sally got divorced, I think I want to get divorced too, and I'm just gonna, let's just go get divorced. There's no fault divorce. That changes things, completely. You could literally come home and find your wife in bed with 2 other men and your children in the other room, and there's no consequences for that whatsoever with family law. She would still be enriched if she used the law to her benefit. So you'd have to see incentives given to men to want to get married, and I don't see incentives coming towards men today. There's not very many incentives. There's some tax incentives if you in Canada, for example, if you contribute to your spouse's RSP, for example, if you're together forever, then there'll be benefit to that when you both retire, obviously. But I'm not seeing new incentives being offered, towards forming in the unit.
Yeah. So meaning that you don't see how the state can make things be even harsh on the man, meaning that force you into marriage or.
Actually, this is probably the best point here. Somebody just said in the comments, things need to collapse. I think there needs to be a reset so that we can start over again when it comes to building family units the way that we used to build them.
Okay. All right. Okay. So here is just okay. So now I'll just make it quick. Seriously, and I want to challenge all these things, right? So if I can just speak a little bit uninterrupted, so and then you can say whatever. So number one, the point about game being rigged against men, right? So that's number one. Well, believe it or not, that my question about how state or state authorities can actually force you into marriage or do something to your relationship, I wasn't describing the distant future. I was actually describing the past, which actually happened. Believe it or not, no other than Reinhard Heydrich, of all people, was fired, was dishonorably discharged from the Navy. You know why? Because he proposed to a woman and then changed his mind. And it wasn't because his boss didn't like him. It just was the policy. If you are an officer and you propose to rule, that was it was. Number two, my great-grandfather was in 1905, I guess. Mm-hmm. He was given a promotion, so to speak. He said, okay, you move to the new place with a promotion and so forth, but there is a condition, you must be married. Plus, plus, his superiors had not to choose, but to approve his wife. Mm-hmm. Trust me. And more than that, if you are about to marry, you had to put the deposit in form of money to make sure that your family would be okay. So my point is that this idea of currently people being the game being rigged, it comes from actually not knowing the perspective of where we are in history. We are, trust me, okay, life is not perfect, I agree. But if you compare to how our grandfathers lived, we are in a very, very favorable position.
Okay, so you disagree with the assessment.
Yeah, what modern people tend to do is they tend to confuse their lack of responsibility they confuse it with oppression. I have chosen the wrong woman, and this has consequences. I have chosen the wrong cryptocurrency. I'm losing my money. Can I have it back? No, the system is rigged, for Christ's sake.
Well,
that's what it is.
So let me just address that, because we'll just deal with the one point, so we don't have to go to the other two, to make sure that we at least cover one thing for you, so you can get some satisfaction here. Marriage today is a contract that you sign with somebody else, a woman, obviously, where she is rewarded for breaking that contract. At no time in history did that exist. There's a book by Stephanie Kuntz called Marriage: A History, which I'd recommend that you read, since you're very interested in marriage and the past of marriage. But marriage in the past had nothing to do with love, children, or any of those things. It was about the acquisition of in-laws and, creating that unity so that you could deal with problems as they came up, right? If there was a medical issue, you probably had a doctor in the family.
Yeah, but,
right?
but it means we're better off right now, right?
No, well, hear me out for a sec so I can finish. Because at no time in history were women ever rewarded for breaking that contract. In the past, if she wanted to get divorced and leave him, he would often be left with the children and any assets that were in the matrimonial home, or even brought to the marriage. So if she was bringing land, for example, he would often keep that. So he would keep the kids and the land. She would go back to her family. Sometimes she would go work in a brothel. And this is all factual stuff that they pulled from court records, from diaries throughout history. They went back as far as they could collect all the information. So the problem that I have with marriage today, which is what I'm warning men about, is it's a bad deal for men. There's an entire chapter on why smart men don't marry, and I broke that down in each individual area. And I see that you disagree with it, and you're free to do so.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. It's entirely for you, my friend, right? But that's the point. So if you want to learn more about marriage, read that book, Marriage: A History by Stephanie Kuntz, and you get a little bit more information on it. Does that help you out?
Well, yeah, I mean, I still think that obviously our generations are far better off than any of
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, we live longer, we live healthier.
No, I mean, even in terms of marriage agreements, you're free to go. I mean, promiscuity is no longer a problem for anybody, for men and women. So
promiscuity was never a problem in the past, but today, if a woman catches you cheating, she can divorce you, take your kids, and half of your shit. Whereas in the past, the guy would probably keep everything. So how is that improved today?
No, yeah. I mean, you personally can be promiscuous all you want. It wasn't that easy.
No, but what you're suggesting, Yuri, is that, you can be promiscuous today without penalty, but you can't, because if you're promiscuous, your wife catches you cheating, again, well, hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. If she wants to take half of your shit and the children, she can and will do that. And that's more often than not the outcome. Whereas a few hundred years ago, you could be promiscuous with impunity and there would be no consequences whatsoever. There was no fault divorce. There was no division of assets. The kids often stayed with the father or the father's family. So things have changed, dramatically. To
our mutual advantage, to be honest. I mean, seriously.
Well, listen, you can look outside, right now, because we're in Eastern Standard Time, and you could say it's dusk or it's dawn, depending on which way you want to look at the sky. I just look at the facts and I compiled them and I put it together in a book. And if you don't like the book, that's fine. You can leave a bad review, let people know what you think, throw it in the trash, give it to your neighbor, whatever you want.
I'm not going to do that.
But I think that there's a lot of useful information in there. And if you want to dive deeper on, the benefits of marriage today versus the past, I'm telling you, man, read that book and you're going to get some more information out of it.
Okay, all right, fine, fair enough.
Fair enough.
Okay, now, okay. So the second one.
No. That's been way more than 10 minutes, my friend. You've been going on for close to 50, and I got to get to these other guys.
One thing. I knew that you're going to cut me off. I knew that.
Well, you're talking really
I
slow
knew
and
that.
really long, and I told you 10 minutes ago you've only got 10 minutes, and you've been going for close to 15.
Okay, so then just one thing, just Google. I Google this guy,
Janusz Korczak.
Korczak. Yes.
Hold on a sec.
So,
Let me just jot that down because I will do that for you. Jan.
yeah, okay, you don't need to do that. I mean,
okay, I got it.
You can do it later, right?
Polish educator. And why do I want to Google this guy?
Yeah. Just in case. So about media, which actually conditions people to do that, to become cucks, right?
To become cucks.
Yeah.
It's in the book. Yeah, there's some application for media, of course.
It's in the book.
But cuckoldry has been around for a long time, Yuri.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Well, yeah, when take financial, parental, and emotional burden of raising another man's children, you are by definition a cuckold, right?
Okay.
That's from the book. Okay. So Google that guy.
Okay, so I've Googled him.
Yeah. So is he a cuckold? Just interesting.
Okay, so I'll look it up and I'll let you know. Thanks, Yuri. See you, bud.